Greetings, good people. What's up? What's happening? My name is Dr. Clarence, and welcome back to TV7 Live, where we get to give you all the hottest and top trending topics. The United States of America embarrasses Zimbabwe President Mnangagwa over Zambia military base, claims what happened here. So this American general called Michael Langley, who is the general of AFRICOM, spoke through a digital press briefing. So we're just going to listen to what he was saying right about now.
The civil military divide, because in partnership is very effective against countering terrorism.
All right, thank you very much. So we do have a question from Zimbabwe, Mr. Columbus Mafunga, who's a freelance journalist working for VOA. His question is, the Zimbabwean government accuses you of militarizing Zambia and setting up the U.S. Africa Command and moving it from Stuttgart in Germany without express permission from Zambian lawmakers, SADC, or the African Union. What is your response to that?
Could you repeat that question?
Yes. So the Zimbabwe government is accusing the U.S. of militarizing Zambia and seeking to move AFRICOM from Stuttgart to Zambia without permission from Zambian lawmakers, SADC, or the African Union. What's your response?
That's also absolutely false. We have no bases in Zambia. We have no plans to put one there. So our approach is African-led and U.S.-enabled. We work closely. We have a deepened partnership with Zambia. There is no base. We have increased security cooperation with them, but there is no footprint. There's no posture. There's no base. Within our security cooperation office, which is resident in the embassy, but there's no base. There's no plans for a base. But I would just say that we have a very deepened partnership and strong partnership with our Zambian friends and security construct.
All right. Thank you. That's very clear. And then we have a...
All right. I'm just going to rewind it a little bit so we can note point by point what is being said here. So, yesterday also, we saw the U.S. Army donating a military plane to Botswana. Now, this plane, what is it for? It is for humanitarian emergency response missions locally and within the Southern African Development Committee SADC region, and the handover coincided with the Africa Chiefs of Defense conference held in Botswana this week. Now, this one was a different incident or program altogether. It was not part of the Africa Chief of Defense conference, but a separate occurrence, and they gave them an aircraft which is worth $30 million, which is supposed to serve for emergency response missions within the SADC region. Now, what does that mean? We'll get back here. In the meantime, let us just rewind that audio a little bit and listen to what the commander of U.S. Africa Command, General Michael Langley, was saying here.
And being able to provide services and building institutions even level. And partnership is very effective against countering terrorism.
All right. Thank you very much. So we do have a question from Zimbabwe, Mr. Columbus Mafunga, who's a freelance journalist working for BOA. His question is, the Zimbabwean government accuses you of militarizing Zambia and setting up the U.S. Africa Command and moving it from Stuttgart in Germany.
Okay, here say the Zimbabwe government accuses you of militarizing Zambia.
Without express permission from Zambian lawmakers, SADC, or the
Without permission from Zambian lawmakers, SADC, or
African Union.
African
What is your
Union.
response to that?
Could you repeat that question?
Yes. So the Zimbabwe government is accusing the U.S. of militarizing Zambia and seeking to move AFRICOM from Stuttgart to Zambia without permission from Zambian lawmakers, SADC, or the African Union. What's your response?
That's also absolutely false. We have no bases in Zambia. We have no plans to put one there. So our approach is African-led and U.S. enabled.
That's false. We have no base in Zambia. But what do we have in Zambia?
We work closely. We have a deepened partnership with Zambia. There is no base. We have increased security cooperation with them, but there is no footprint.
Increased security cooperation. Take note of the word cooperation. Cooperation means operating together. Increased cooperation, right?
There's no posture. There's no base. Within our security cooperation office, which is resident in the embassy, but there's no base. There's no plans for a base. But I would just say.
So cooperation, they work within the Zambian army, using the Zambian army utilities because it is cooperation.
That we have a very deepened partnership and strong partnership with our Zambian friends and security construct.
All right, thank you. That's very clear.
All right. Earlier on, before this one, what context was he talking about in this digital press briefing? Remember, this is the press briefing.
Whereas there is illicit activity across that median or across that domain. So while pursuing diverse international relations is understandable, I see that the Russian Federation's persistent violations of international law pose a direct threat.
Russian Federation.
To the rules-based international order. Now, when you operate within this domain across the information space, we see.
A big up to Joseph Sakala watching us live right now. To those watching us live right now, you can write your comments in the top chat or in the super chat. That's how I can see your names, so I can give you my shout out. So right about now, as of now, the Zimbabwe President Emmerson Mnangagwa is very enthusiastic about the upcoming SADC conference, and he has launched what is called the SADC flagship, where he is doing many projects in preparation for this upcoming SADC conference. Now, already, there's been an issue warning anybody who might want to disrupt the SADC summit. Already, there's been a warning issued by the government of Zimbabwe on that. So he is taking that very seriously. Now, back to Michael Langley. Who is Michael Langley? The commander of the Africa Command. He is an American commander, the first black 4-star general. Take note, the first black 4-star general in the United States of America. Now, this guy has high-level education in state security and strategy. He holds a master's degree in national security and strategic studies from the Naval War College and a master's degree in strategic studies, a master's degree in strategic studies, then master's degree in national security strategic studies. What is national security? National security has to do with intelligence. It comprises all activities undertaken to enable international partners to work together for strategic objectives. Things like nuclear arms programs, all those things fall under national security. Food security, even food security falls under national security. Border security, defense, it all falls under national security. Then strategic studies focuses on an important areas of study centered on understanding political and military strategy, concerned with topics such as military power and effectiveness, intelligence, diplomacy, and deterrence. Take note of the word deterrence. The audio that I played earlier on is not an interview, but rather that is the format of the digital press briefing that these guys were giving here. And they've made that announcement publicly. So it's not like they were being asked questions. Of course, they were being asked questions, but it was a controlled press briefing from the beginning. Now, what is happening in Zimbabwe? What are President Emmerson Mnangagwa's SADC flagship projects? We're seeing an upgrading at the Zimbabwe International Airport. There, they are putting a new section that is going to be hosting, covering the SADC conference attendees. Then, there's a new hospital that is being constructed at Manyame Air Base, and this hospital is supposed to be operational by the time Zimbabwe hosts the SADC conference. Then, the road that leads to the new parliament, already, they are being revamped, as you can see on the screen here. These are the roads that lead to the new parliament. So they're getting a facelift there. All these projects are happening in Zimbabwe now in preparation for this SADC summit. So the Zimbabwe president is really interested and very enthusiastic about hosting this SADC conference and becoming the SADC chairperson. There is the Heritage Village also. There is the Heritage Village under construction currently, right about now. And we're seeing also renovations at the HICC, at the Sheraton Hotel.
Access to how this SADC summit is going to put Zimbabwe's hospitality industry on the map, and also the long-term benefits and impact to the industry.
Thank you very much. We are very happy about the developments that are happening right now currently in preparations of SADC Summit. It is a great opportunity for Zimbabwe as a destination to sell itself and to market itself and to be known worldwide. Everybody will be looking at this. Everybody will be focusing on Zimbabwe, not just Zimbabwe as a government or Zimbabwe as a nation, but Zimbabwe as a tourism destination. So in tourism, we are very grateful about this opportunity, and we think all these refurbishments that we have seen are going to have long benefits to tourism or in royalty industry. particularly where we are right now, the conference center of HICC. As you all know, it's one of the biggest facilities in the SADC, and these refurbishments will make it much more better and much more known during SADC summit. And
take note the reference here. It's one of the biggest facilities in the SADC region. Already the narrative or the way they speak has changed. Everything is now in reference to SADC, in reference to SADC.
We are anchoring on marketing it more and talking about it a lot more, so that after the life and impact and economic impact in tourism about this conference facility for MICE tourism.
All right, so that was the Zimbabwe Minister of Tourism here speaking. If you look closely in the background, you can see that she is in the HICC. So they are revamping the place, changing everything, upgrading everything. I just wonder who got these tenders. Anyways, that one, let's leave it there. Then here we see the Deputy Chief Secretary and National Coordinator of Flagship Programs in the Office of the President, speaking on the flagship programs
of the SADC summit projects that are being undertaken by the government, starting with the airport facilities as well as the hospital facility at Manyama.
Airport facility, hospital facility.
Air base. We then toured the roads that are from the airport leading into town to the various hotels.
The roads leading to the various hotels.
As well as the roads leading from the hotels to the venue itself at the new parliament in the new city, Mount Hampton. We also toured.
One question one may ask is, are they doing the roads now? In that area, Kwakusina Irema Road. Chazukonzisa kuti maroad ade kugadzirwa ezvinoizvi quick kuita go faster patown. Kwakusina ere maroads.
Other facilities like African Museum of Liberation, Geopomona Waste Management, as well as the Diamond
African Museum of Liberation. That one has been under construction for some time now. Will it be finished by August?
Hall or theater at the University of Zimbabwe, where His Excellency is going to do a public lecture, which is part of the program of the SADC summit itself. And lastly, we also looked at the new villas which are being constructed in the new city at Mount Hampton. There's 18 of them. And
there are also new villas that are being constructed at Mount Hampton. Now these villas, they are using precast walls. So they're supposed to be finished by the time we host the SADC summit. These are the precast walls here. So far, there isn't one structure. Only time will tell how this goes. But this is a really very ambitious undertaking, a very ambitious project going on there. So they're supposed to construct 18 villas there. So the day before yesterday, we saw ministers touring the place. And then yesterday, we saw the president himself and the vice president together touring that very same place. So he's very enthusiastic about this SADC thing.
We are actually pleased with the progress that we have achieved so far, and we want to believe, in fact, we think from the confidence that we are given by the local contractors that are working on this, that everything should be ready by latest by end of July in readiness for the summit, which is taking place on the 17th and 18th of August. We undertook.
Oh, ready by the end of July, just 1 month to finish all these projects. And then we see here the president when he did the tour yesterday.
The vision we have is unfolding slowly but certainly. We are creating a new city here. And I'm happy that the vision is actualizing slowly but certainly.
Come August, will we be here for the summit?
August will have adequate facilities to host the August conference. But that is not the end of the development of the vision of the new city.
Driving on the boulevard, how did you feel?
Actually driven on it now. So by the time in August, more decorations will have been put on site.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
All right, let us listen once again, word to word.
The vision we have is unfolding slowly but certainly. We are creating a new city here. And I'm happy that the vision is actualizing slowly but certainly.
Come August, will we be here for the summit?
August will have adequate facilities to host the August conference. But that.
Right, listen to the tone. Listen to the tone that he is using to speak here in response to the questions.
And I'm happy that the vision is actualizing slowly but certainly.
Come August, will we be here for the summit?
August will have adequate facilities to host the August conference.
August, we will have adequate facilities to host the program. Now, what does adequate mean? Adequate means sufficient, good enough, meaning not everything will be complete. Hence why he continues to say, this will not finish here. Adequate does not mean enough. Adequate means good enough, but not enough. Or not maximum. It means what can do. It means we will have the basics.
But that is not the end of the development of the vision of the new city.
Driving on the boulevard, how did you feel?
Actually driven on it now. So by the time in August.
So as much as he is enthusiastic, he is very worried.
More decorations will have been put on site.
More decorations would have been put on site. So this thing is actually stressing, is visibly in stress, visibly distressed on this. I'm just going to rewind a bit again so that we can take notice of the distress and the stress.
We are creating a new city here. And I'm happy that the vision is actualizing slowly but certainly.
Come August, will we be here for the summit?
August will have adequate facilities to host the August conference. But that is not the end of the development of the vision of the new city.
Driving on the boulevard, how did you feel?
Actually driven on it now. So.
Okay, actually I've driven on it now. So the guy is asking questions that point out what needs to be pointed out, but these are not the questions that he wants to be asked here. Visibly, stressed because he knows the deadlines that they have to finish all these projects.
By the time in August.
By the time in August. But anyways, just the fact that the project have begun, the SADC delegation can actually be shown the project under construction now. Threats of protests and threats of disrupting this summit. We saw the president speaking, directing the small boys. Now, this is a press statement by Minister Jeftan Muskwere. What is in here? Now, this one is very, very clear and on point. Who it's targeting, what it is speaking about. It is very clear and precise. So let me just read it a little bit. Government has observed attempts to instigate anarchy and despondency by some criminal and opportunistic elements in the opposition, some politicians, and some civil society organizations. This is in line with their well-documented modus operandi to seek attention and raise funding to try to resurrect their political careers through subverting the will of the people. Therefore, as government, we are warning perpetrators of these serial choreographed theatrics who are involved in subversive activities aimed at undermining the rule of law, that their days are numbered and that their lawless plans will never see the light of day. Take note, their lawless plans will never see the light of day. To this end, the government reaffirms its commitment to protecting the nation and the citizens by ensuring that law and order prevails. Law enforcement agencies will not hesitate to apprehend all those who undermine the justice delivery system through causing chaos and mayhem. Finally, the government is assuring members of the public that security forces have adequate capacity to maintain law and order in terms of the constitutional mandate by Honorable J. Muskwere, MP, Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, and Acting Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage. Now this guy is holding two ministries, Minister of Information and Publicity and Acting Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage. What does it mean to say the days are numbered? It means what it means. Before that, we had seen the president making this speech.
We will not stop our development plans and programs because of the noise from some little boys. They will continue making that noise, but we shall continue to move on. But I warn anybody who may want to be nonsensical and bring chaos in this country, we are ready for any chaos.
All right, here he is using the Robert Mugabe tone. This is a Robert Gabriel Mugabe tone when he was speaking against the British. They saw Blair, keep your England, I keep my Zimbabwe days. The days we would see Zimbabwe going under sanctions. This is the same tone that he is using here. So he's very, very serious about this now. So this is a message which he means.
Deal with any chaos. Whoever who preach hate speech shall be responsible for their hate speech. Our prisons are not full. We want peace. We want unity. Those who do not disagree with that, but do so quietly and peacefully. Then, tishafamba tose murugare nokuirana. Asukata mesha mkono tinokuveza.
All right, I'm going to rewind it again. Watch closely the body language. It's almost similar to the body language that was used by Robert Gabriel Mugabe. This is a different tonality, and there is no joking in this one.
We will not stop our development plans and programs because of the noise from some little boys. They will continue.
Because of the noise from some little boys. Of course, Ostalos had made a speech which sounded very bold, a type of speech we had not heard in Zimbabwe for a very long time, where he was threatening demonstrations there at the court where the Avondale 79 are being held.
Basha Mnangagwa, Basha ZANU-PF, Basha dictatorship, Basha Shamisa oye Maita Basa organizer Negweta Redu. My citizens, thank you very much.
Now we show this one in another video. You can check some of our past broadcasts here. That is Ostalos was speaking at the court.
To ZANU-PF and all the headmasters of chaos. Musa provocavan.
They will continue making that noise, but we shall continue to move on. But I warn anybody who may want to be nonsensical and bring chaos in this country. We are ready for any chaos, to deal with any chaos.
To deal with any chaos.
Whoever who preach hate speech shall be responsible for their hate speech. Our prisons are not full. We want peace. We want unity. Those who do not disagree with that, do so quietly and peacefully. Then.
So this was not a written speech. Whatever actions or whatever speak anybody is saying about Mnangagwa's SADC chairmanship is a detractor. And very much unwelcome, because he's very much looking forward to this and very much enthusiastic about these things. So we saw even their buses, branded buses, something we haven't seen before happen in Zimbabwe. We have branded buses as if the members of the public are going to be attending, like it's a rally or it's a show. So we see here the bus is branded. Then August 2024, HEED Mnangagwa, incoming chairman, SADC 44th summit, in preparation for the historic SADC summit. The historic SADC summit. So this one, he wants to make it big. We have had SADC chairpersons before. Even Mugabe, at one point, he was a SADC chairperson. Now, we haven't seen any preparation like this one, so intense and so massive like this one. Anyways, on the same note, if we go to South Africa, there is this bus branded Zim Mafia. It looks like this. Zimbabwe's West 11. Then there are images of those guys on this bus. It's another bus spreading that message there. Anyways, enough respect to everybody. who was watching us live right now. To those watching us live, write your comments in the comment section or in the top chat. That's how I can see your names, so I can give you my shout out. Earlier on, we were speaking of General Langley's press statement, press briefing concerning military bases in Zambia and concerning Zimbabwe's stance towards the U.S. Botswana relations, U.S. Zambia relations. Bear with me there. So we saw the U.S. giving Botswana a military airplane, which they are saying is for SADC response mission. SADC response missions. Now, what is meant by SADC response missions? And remember, this guy, General Michael Langley, is a guy with the highest level of education in national security and in strategy.
Countering terrorism.
All right, thank you very much. So we do have a question from Zimbabwe, Mr. Columbus Mafunga, who's a freelance journalist working for BOA. His question is, the Zimbabwean government accuses you of militarizing Zambia and setting up the U.S. Africa Command and moving it from Stuttgart in Germany without express permission from Zambian lawmakers, SADC, or the African Union. What is your response to that?
Could you repeat that question?
Yes. So the Zimbabwe government is accusing...
Right, the question is asked, then he says, could you repeat that question?
The U.S. of militarizing Zambia and seeking to move AFRICOM from Stuttgart to Zambia without permission from Zambian lawmakers, SADC, or the African Union. What's your response?
That's also absolutely false. We have no bases in Zambia. We have no plans to put one there.
Okay, he laughs it off as if it's just coming to him. Ha! That's absolutely false. Okay, that is his response there. Big up to Tawanda Lomichi. Enough respect.
So our approach is African-led and U.S.-enabled.
Our approach is African-led and U.S.-enabled.
We work closely. We have a
he gets a little bit tongue-tied there.
Deepened partnership with
trying to explain the relationship
with Zambia. There is no base. We have increased security cooperation.
Increased security cooperation. Remember the meaning of the word cooperation. Cooperation.
With them, but there is no footprint, there's no posture, there's no base. Within our security cooperation office, which is resident in the embassy, but there's no base. There's no plans for a base. But I would just say that we have a very...
He says, but there's no base. So they have an alternative there.
Deepened partnership and strong partnership with our Zambian friends and security construct.
All right, guys. Thank you to everybody who was watching us live right about now. Only time will tell what happens next. Now we're seeing the Botswana getting a military aircraft here. Actually, I'm just going to show a little bit of evidence here on the Botswana. Here it says, U.S. gifts C-130 Hercules to Botswana. The United States has delivered a C-130 Hercules cargo aircraft to Botswana to enhance the country's ability to support military, humanitarian, and emergency response missions locally and within the Southern African Development Committee. So it's a cargo aircraft. Cargo aircraft. This one here. It's worth 30 million US dollars. Very, very quickly. That is the plane there. A cargo airplane there. So here they say the region has not been spared from ever-growing effects of global warming, which have increased the frequency of severity of climate-related natural disasters with resultant deaths and destruction. I cannot overemphasize the value of the C-130 aircraft in our response to contingencies of such nature. The aircraft can operate from the underdeveloped ground, rough and jet strip from our side of the world as the prime transport for dropping troops and equipment in operational areas or supplies in disaster hit areas. Troops and supplies, maybe troops are the personnel that will be doing the disaster response there. Anyways, guys, that was it for today. With that, I'm gonna sign out. Dr. Clarence is the name. TV7 Live is the channel. As always, thank you for watching. And Diamond out.